Very important medical disclaimer. Information provided in this podcast is for educational purposes only and does not substitute for professional medical advice. Always seek the advice of your physician or other qualified healthcare provider with any questions you may have regarding a medical condition or treatment before undertaking a new health regimen. Welcome to the Holistic Health Explained podcast. I'm your host, Shante Fox, and my guest for today's episode is Tetonia Blossom, the founder of Regarding You Mindful Care, a brand dedicated to bringing mindfulness and self-care practices into the lives of busy individuals. As a certified mindfulness instructor facilitator, Tetonia combines her personal journey with professional expertise to make mindfulness accessible and impactful for everyone. Her journey began with a need to recover from burnout and to find a path that allowed her to improve her relationship with herself, cultivate compassion for others, and reclaim her joy and positive mindset. Regarding You, Mindful Care's mission is to make mindfulness a natural part of daily life for everyone. Tetonia is passionate about helping others discover the transformative power of mindfulness, showing that the right tools and mindset, it's possible to reclaim a sense of peace, joy, and fulfillment. Hello, Tetonia,
Hello.
and welcome and thank you for taking the time to chat with me today.
Thank
I'm
you for having me.
really excited to break down mindfulness with you today because I feel like that word is getting tossed around a lot these days. It's kind of becoming a little more popular and I'm hearing it a lot out there. So I think it'll be really great to break it down and explain it to our listeners of what exactly is mindfulness for those who don't know. But before we get into my questions with you, can you please share with us a fun fact or something that not many people may know about you?
A fun fact about me that many people might not know is that I am a holiday romance author by trade. I love holiday romances for some
Wow.
reason.
Okay.
I have a series. It's called the Timber Heart series, but the most popular one in the series is called Jingle My Way. Wonderful holiday story. But a lot of people don't really know that.
That's
They kind
pretty
of discover
awesome.
it.
Yeah. How can people find those novels?
They actually are available on Barnes and Nobles and Amazon.
Awesome.
Have been for a decade. Yes, last year it
Wow.
was 10 years since I
Okay.
published my first book.
Okay. Are you still into that at all? Are you are in your spare time?
Very much, I
Wow.
am. I have had a story tinkering around in my head because the series isn't done yet. So
Okay.
there's still a couple of more books in the series. If I find the time, which mindfulness has certainly been helping me find more time for that.
Awesome. Well, that is a very fun fact. Thank you for sharing that with us today. All right, so let's get into it a little bit. First off, I would like you to tell us a little bit more about your own personal journey into becoming a mindfulness and meditation facilitator. Like, how did you end up getting certified in this practice?
Yes, absolutely. It's such an interesting story because I did not know that mindfulness was the thing that I was doing. I think as the bio said, I suffered burnout back in what was it, 2022. Didn't even know what it was because it wasn't something that was popularly talked about. I just knew that I worked really hard that year. I got a lot of accolades, but by the time the next year rolled around, 2023, when I tell you I was out of energy, my spirit was low. I'd lost my positive perspective. I just felt like I needed a break, and I didn't know why I couldn't rally myself like I normally would.
Mm-hmm.
I actually started trying to read self-help books, but I never had time to like get past page 15
Right.
of a book to actually get the help that I needed. But the few pages that I did read would help me feel better a little bit. I started looking for, well, what can I read that's quick,
Mm-hmm.
that I can just do, really quickly with a few minutes of my time. And so I actually found positive affirmations. And I started reading those every day to help me feel better. Just depositing positive messages started to help me feel better. As a writer, I started writing my own
Mm-hmm.
positive
Yeah.
affirmations. And after a while, I was like, I would love to share these with other people. So I actually created regarding you simply based on my positive affirmations that were like stuck to my window. But as I was creating the company, I felt the need to research and understand like these positive affirmations make me feel better, but is this a placebo effect? Like what is the benefit?
Mm-hmm.
And that's when I learned about mindfulness.
Okay.
And I decided to try it out. Now, I wasn't a person who thought meditation is for me. Actually, I thought meditation, and those types of holistic practices were out of scope for me just simply because all the pictures that you see, people are
Mm-hmm.
look like lotus pose
Yeah,
statues. And I was like, I can't get on the floor. I can't
that's
do
for
that.
me.
Right. And so for some reason I felt compelled to take the MBSR training after reading about mindfulness. And I was so pleasantly surprised when I sat down in my first class and my instructor said, "We're going to practice meditation right now." And I was like, "Wait, do I have to get on the floor?" And they were like, "No, like we're sitting in a chair. You can stand up, you can walk, you can drive, you can wash your dishes, fold your laundry." And I was like, "What?"
Wow.
Mindfulness is available in all forms for all people.
Right.
And the fact that you could do it with just simply your mind and some time that you designate intentionally for it.
Right.
So that opened my whole world to it. And after I completed the MBSR training, which is mindfulness, what is it? MBSR. So mindfulness based stress reduction.
Okay.
So it's an 8-week training that teaches you all of the formal practices of
Mm-hmm.
meditation,
Okay.
as well as all the informal practices of meditation. So
Hmm.
how you can do mindfulness in your average day.
Okay.
And that really sort of expanded the scope of my business of, okay, I'm not just affirmations and journals. I really want to be able to share this with the world. And so after the MBSR training, I actually went further to do the facilitator training and became a certified mindfulness workplace facilitator where I facilitate for corporations today.
Awesome. Very nice. Oh, that's impressive. Thanks. How would you define mindfulness for somebody who's completely new to the concept?
So I would define mindfulness, and I do this a lot for teens today, is mindfulness is the opposite of mindlessness. So a lot of our activities that we're doing today, we can consider mindless. So mindless
Hmm.
scrolling, mindless streaming, mindless eating. These are things that you're doing unconsciously.
Right.
Mindfulness is the act of doing something with intention, consciously, and being present in the moment. So instead of an opportunity to check out and turn your brain off, it's a way that you actually turn your brain on and focus on the present moment. So it could be sitting in a room and bringing your own awareness to the sounds that you hear in that room, or the sights that you see in a garden, or looking out of the window and noticing clouds. So
Hmm.
any place where you're sitting present in this moment and you're bringing awareness to what is here in the present moment, that is considered mindfulness.
Okay. Would you consider mindfulness and meditation to be the same thing, or is there something that really sets them apart?
So, meditation is a tool that is part of sort of your mindfulness practice.
Okay.
Meditation is used in order to grow your attention span and awareness. Now, you can do mindfulness even though meditation is not for you. And I know a lot of people who have said,
Hmm.
I love mindfulness, but I've tried meditation. It doesn't work for me. So it's not exclusive to each other, but meditation is a powerful tool as part of mindfulness because it helps you grow in the ability to sit with your own thoughts in the present moment for an extended amount of time. And so the practice is usually to start small, 5 minutes. The goal, they say, for a healthy mindfulness practice is to work your way up to 45 minutes because at 45 minutes, you have the ability to, um, it's, it's getting beyond the surface level. And a lot of people would approach it as you reach wisdom, or some people would call it a point of zen.
Hmm.
There is the longer you practice, the more benefit that you actually get from it with your connectedness to yourself as well as the moment that you're in.
Okay. How do you think mindfulness and or meditation techniques can benefit those with anxiety or depression?
I think even my personal, like, it's helped me so much. I think it's really the way that I explain it to a lot of people is that every moment that you spend, like, in mindfulness, whether formal or informal, which formal is meditation, informal are mindful activities. Every moment that you spend intentionally in a space where you're focused on the present moment is a moment that you're not in depression mode,
Mm,
you're not in overwhelm, and you're not in anxiety. So
right,
it's actually your reprieve from those activities.
right. Okay, that makes sense. Are there any other health benefits besides, just stress reduction and, you know, kind of calming the mind and easing anxiety? Are there any other health benefits that are correlated with being able to practice mindfulness or meditation? Maybe
Yes.
even physical type of ailments?
Absolutely, yes. So mindfulness is very beneficial for pain management.
Okay.
Individuals who might be dealing with chronic pain
Hmm.
in their lives or depression as a result of their chronic pain. I think, like as I just stated, every moment that you spend outside of focusing your attention on the pain, and you're doing a mindful activity, it's a way that you escape the pain for even, a temporary
Yeah,
amount of time because
right.
mindfulness is never about ignoring or denying the challenge that you are facing, but it's about giving you the power of choice of saying, okay, I'm in pain or I'm depressed. I can focus for the next 6 hours in my depression or my pain, or I can take 20 minutes out of that 6 hours and focus on mindfulness. And then what it does is it slowly begins to shift your perspective and
Hmm.
gives you control back. Because I think a lot of the challenges that we're facing, overwhelm, anxiety, pain management, um, those situations can make you feel out of control, like you're just in the water, wavering. Mindfulness helps you regain the control where you have a clear understanding of my attention and my awareness. I can control it. If I need a moment of peace, I can find it right here within myself.
Are there any common misconceptions about meditation or mindfulness that you encounter often?
Yes, I do actually. I face a lot of misconceptions. I think mainly because mindfulness is derived from Buddhism. That's where John Kabat-Zinn first identified mindfulness practices.
Okay.
However, there is still the misconception and the association that mindfulness is a religion or mindfulness might be in
Hmm.
opposition to one's religion. And the misconception I usually try to dispel with people is that mindfulness is not a religion. While we have positive affirmation cards and you might meditate, there is in no place or space of worshiping anything or anyone. It's simply a tool to help you connect with yourself, connect with the present moment and the environment around you.
Okay. Okay. So that's probably the most common
Yes, very common
misconception
misconception.
or myth that you come across. I could see that. Your goal is making mindfulness accessible to those who feel that they don't have time to spare, right? So, how exactly can busy professionals or anyone easily incorporate mindfulness into their practices daily?
I think there's so many like informal ways that we probably don't realize, but 5 minutes of breathing
Hmm.
in between a call or in between a meeting or, perhaps on the drive to work or from work, instead of listening to the music or listening to the talk news, actually stopping and listening to perhaps nothing. Sometimes I just drive home silent,
Yeah.
or I might pick some meditation music from a music app where I just want to have something that's calming and I want to just notice the things around me. That's a real easy way to sort of stop and practice. Also, just being aware of what your body is feeling. I know, like in the work environment today, we might sit down at our desk. We are there from sun up to sundown. We've eaten food, but we don't remember what we ate. or,
Hmm. Right.
or we've sent 50 emails for the day, but we never even checked in to say, do I have a headache? Am I sitting properly? Does
Hmm.
my back hurt? It's just bringing awareness, maybe for a minute or two, to the body and asking yourself, what do I need? Maybe I need to adjust my posture. Maybe I'm sitting in the wrong seat. Maybe I need water. or
Yeah.
maybe I need to go to the restroom. But it's just stopping and actually checking in with yourself. That's the quickest and easiest way that a busy person can start um, to lean more towards mindful living. And you'll notice over time that the more that you take those moments, the more that you want those moments because you
Yes.
feel good. Even just a couple of minutes of, I stopped and I took a deep breath, and I didn't realize for the past 60-minute call that I wasn't
Hmm.
taking a deep breath.
Right. You kind of touched on maybe even using like an app or something to, do some play some music or something of that sort. How do you see the role of technology in mindfulness and meditation practice? Do you think that apps and guided meditations are helpful, or they could they potentially be distracting to people?
I actually thought that they would be distracting when I first joined, like, MBSR. I was like, "I don't know how I'm supposed to focus while you're talking to me."
Hmm.
But the thing that most people will learn as they're early on in their mindfulness practice is that your mind wanders. Whenever
Yeah.
you give your mind a break from stress, anxiety, work, children, it just starts wandering all over the place, and you're like,
Hmm.
"What's happening?"
Hmm.
So the guided meditation apps are very helpful for people beginning because someone is talking and you're giving direction. And when you enter practice, we say, okay, set the intention for practice. You're going to be guided by someone with their words. They're talking to you. You're going to close your eyes and just follow the directions that they're given.
Yeah.
And that guiding actually helps keep your mind from wandering too far off. Now, it's still going to wander, and
Hmm.
it's okay because that's what the brain is supposed to do. But the guided meditations are perhaps like the music, if it's calming to you and relaxing, then yes, it can absolutely help enhance your experience. Now, as you grow in your practice, you'll start. Some people are like, I prefer silent meditation because I want to sit with my own thoughts, and that's
Yeah.
usually someone who has experienced the 45 minutes and the feeling that you get. And when I call it wisdom, some people call it zen, but wisdom, it's like sitting with your best friend who knows everything about you, and it's just
Hmm.
sitting with yourself and your own thoughts. So there are people who are like, I only practice mindfulness so I could get there. I want to go back
Yeah.
to that room, sit with that person. That's my happy place.
Hmm.
So they don't want any direction. But for those growing in their practice, the direction helps enhance their experience and keeps them in it versus my mind wandered for 35 minutes and I fell asleep. Like, you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah. I do use those apps sometimes myself when I need to, get into that Zen or meditative state because I'm a mind wanderer for sure. And I do feel like it does, help me to just kind of be more in the moment and relax and not be thinking of all the other things I should be doing in that moment, right? Um, I also think that kind of made me think of sometimes I always say that when I'm in the shower, I
Mhm.
call it my think tank because there's no distractions. I'm just in the shower, the water's just running. That's all you hear. There's no, I don't play music or anything in the background when I'm in the bathroom taking a shower. And that's when all my like greatest ideas come to me is
Yeah.
during that time. So that's why I call it my think tank. But that just, you made me think of that. Like,
And that's
you
an
know,
informal, mindful moment. Like
yeah,
mine is driving. Like I get all of my ideas in the car and I'm like, God, don't revoke my license. But like I'm practicing mindfulness on my drive home. But
yeah,
it's just the space where my mind settles and the ideas sort of come to me.
yeah.
And I had another person who attended my meditation and she said, that happens to me after work every day on my couch. I just sit in my mind. And I was like, any place where your thoughts are free to be
Hmm.
just as they are without judgment or expectation. Are you trying to force it to do something
Yeah.
where you let your thoughts reign free? That's your mindful moment
Okay. Yay.
to enjoy it.
Well, I think this would actually be a great time if were able to give us a quick mindfulness meditation sample. Do you have something that you could do with us for our audience listening that they could
Yes.
listen to?
Yes, I do. I have a quick one. It's not too long, but it's definitely been beneficial. So,
Okay,
all right. So,
go for it.
we'll begin by taking a position of practice, sitting in a
I'm
position
going to get
where
my position here.
the spine is straight but not stiff. I invite you to close your eyes or lower your gaze. Unless you're driving, then don't do that. And simply to inhale through the nostrils and exhale through the mouth, allowing the thoughts of the meetings or activities before to simply stick a pin. We'll come back to it later. And preventing thoughts of ideas or activities that will occur after. And just stick a pin in them. We'll come back to them later. But setting the intention for now and bringing our awareness to the present moment. And what we'll do for this brief practice is simply a scan of our head. So, starting at the crown of the head, as we inhale through our nostrils, noticing any tension present and inviting it to release. And inhaling again through the nostrils, bringing our awareness down to the forehead, the temples of the head. As we inhale, noticing any tension present and inviting it to release. And using our breath, allowing it to seek out the awareness of tension. Simply noticing without judgment or forcing things to be, but noticing where the tension might be present and inviting it to release. Now allowing our awareness to travel down to the eyes, the bridge of the nose, the crow's area of the eyes. And as we inhale, noticing any tension present. And as we exhale, release. Now coming down to the cheekbones, just under the eyes, noticing any tension and release. Now down to the earlobes, the jawline, noticing and releasing. And then finally the mouth and the chin, noticing and releasing. And just taking 2 more deep breaths through the nostrils, exhaling through the nose, bringing awareness to the full head, allowing that breath to bring awareness to any additional lingering areas of tension and inviting them to release. And now slowly bringing our awareness back to the present moment, unpinning the thoughts if you choose, shifting the body if you feel the need, opening your eyes, and taking this mindful moment into the rest of your day. Thank you.
That was wonderful. Thank you. It's really crazy how, we don't realize how much tension we're holding, right? Because every little area that you said to bring awareness to it and release anything that you're holding on to there, it's like I felt like I was tense in that area. It's like, who would have thought,
It's
around the
amazing.
eyes,
We
you're
just
holding this
operate all
yeah.
day. Like for me, I smile a lot in my cheekbones. Like I was like, these this is like I've been working these out. They're tired.
Right. Gotta let them relax a little bit. Just give them a moment. Right. Oh,
Absolutely.
wow, that was great. Thank you for doing that for us. Is there anything else that you'd like to share with our audience about mindfulness or just self care in general today?
I would just like to share with everyone just a simple equation that I like to tell everyone that mindfulness plus self care equals a better you. That mindfulness is to help us bring awareness to the things that we need, but self care is the action. that we do to attend to the things that we notice. And so that's really the full purpose of Regarding You Mindful Care, is to make sure that we bring awareness to our needs, but that we also action on them.
Awesome. Exactly. Well, thank you again for coming on the show today and helping us learn more about a different holistic healing modality. Can you tell our listeners how they can find you or more details on what you offer? They are here locally.
Absolutely, yes. We are now very happy to have found a home at the Sozu Healing House, where we will be holding monthly events. We have guided meditation. We have informal practices like sip and journals and some holiday crafting planned. We will have a full calendar of events. You can find us at regardingyou1.com. So that's regarding you with the number one .com. That's our website. And then on all of the social media platforms, TikTok, Facebook, and Instagram, we are at Regarding You One.
Awesome. I'll put those in the notes too so they can see your website and your
Great.
social media handles. So people can find you easily. To our listeners today, thank you for tuning in to today's episode of Holistic Health Explained. I'm your host, Shantae. Be well, my friends.